Hello and welcome to HITC Sport. Right, my name's James and I know what you're all thinking. I'm devastated too that there's an international break. Just when the Premier League's heating up like an episode of X on the beach, it's been snatched away from us like Peter Wingy's transfer to QPR all those years ago. But stop your tears, stop embarrassing yourself and strap yourself in for some World Cup content. Yes, 2022 is a World Cup year. The dust has only just settled from Euro 2020, where people went a little bit mad and started smashing things up and putting flares up the backside because it was the first fun they'd had since lockdown, which maybe proves that staying in the house for a year isn't good for your mental state. But normality has kind of resumed, and this year it's the World Cup at Christmas. While your mum's fighting the queues at Big Tesco and your dad's desperately scrambling for next day delivery on eBay, you'll be settling down in front of the big telly to watch the Qatar World Cup. The big guns will be there, but there are already some huge players who won't be playing on the grandest stage of them all. Yes, football's answer to WrestleMania has some superstar names who've already failed to qualify. Ahead of a week full of important qualifiers, this is the best current 11 of players who are already not going to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. In goal is Jan Oblak. Yes, arguably the best goalkeeper in the world will not be at the biggest tournament in the world, although then again, he's not having his best season for Atletico Madrid. Oblak is normally the immovable object in Spain, but this season he's been about as solid as a wet sponge. But he did improve last week, much to the anger of Man United fans, who responded by bottling Diego Simeone as if he was Eminem performing at a rock and roll concert. Yeah, that's down with the kids, isn't it? Classic rock and bloody roll. On the international stage, Oblak captained Slovenia, but they finished fourth in their qualifying group behind Croatia, those who shall not be named, and Slovakia. That means Oblak will be spending Christmas at home, catching presents and trying to play Brussels sprouts out from the back, while Jordan Pickford does his best not to embarrass himself for England like he does for Everton. When you look at it like that, it hardly seems fair that Oblak isn't going to the World Cup, and the poor bloke probably never will. Right back is Matt Doherty. We're currently in the age of the right back, with so many top class players flying down the flanks and banishing the memory of no one wants to be a Gary Neville. No one does want to be a Gary Neville, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be a right back nowadays. England have got an incredible wealth of options in that position right now, meaning there'll be some big names not going to the World Cup when Gareth Southgate selects his squad. But now we have to focus on the teams who haven't qualified, which brings us to the Republic of Ireland. Now the regular Irish updates on this channel have come to an end, here's a quick reminder that they've once again not qualified for a major tournament because they're not actually very good at football. But while Jack Grealish and Declan Rice will be going to the World Cup, actual Irishman Matt Doherty will not. The Tottenham defender is having a mini resurgence under Antonio Conte, but he joins the long list of questionable Spurs fullbacks who won't be in Qatar at the end of the year. Okay, it isn't that long a list, it's just him and Serge Aurier. Our first centre-back is Milan Skriniar. We've mentioned his nation already, but Milan Skriniar Slovakia have not qualified for the World Cup. To be fair, it's probably for the best after Martin Dubravka's howler against Spain at the Euros. Honestly, I still think it gives him nightmares. Amanda Seyfried's been telling him for weeks that he's going to be replaced by the most expensive goalkeeper in the world in the summer, and all he can picture is that horrendous Euros moment. But we're not here to talk about Dubravka, we're here to talk about centre-backs. And since Martin Skrtel's retired from international football, I suppose I'll have to focus on Milan Skriniar. The 27-year-old is one of the top defenders in world football, and I think a lot more people realise that during the last round of the Champions League. While everyone stares gazingly at the beauty of Virgil van Dijk as if he's Maya Jama on the red carpet, everyone should have been focusing on Skriniar. The defender was excellent against Liverpool and provided a timely reminder that there are world-class players outside of the Premier League. Hopefully a point my new colleague Nuri, or the Dutch guy, can hammer home soon. Alongside Skriniar at centre-back is Edmund Tapsoba. We've got our first African representative in this team, but there are few and far between with the African qualifiers still hanging in the balance. Things will become much clearer at the end of this international break, but one country who definitely aren't going to the World Cup are Burkina Faso. The 56th best team in the world haven't made it at the show of shows, which is no surprise considering they've never actually qualified for the World Cup. Maybe they'll have a better chance in 2026 when 1 million teams are out to enter, but even then I bet the Irish still don't qualify. Back to Tapsoba though, who's a wonderful young centre-back playing for Bayer Leverkusen. He could get himself an even bigger move in the future, but he won't have the luxury of a World Cup to sell his skills to a wider audience, such are the perils of playing for a smaller nation. Left back is Kostas Tsimikas. Much to the delight of Liverpool fans, one of their left backs definitely isn't going to the World Cup. That's because Greece didn't even make the playoffs in the European qualification process, finishing below Spain and Sweden, which is, in all honesty, To be expected. I mean, the fact Greece were only 5 points behind Sweden is kind of impressive, considering gorgeous Georgios Samros doesn't even don the blue and white shirt anymore. But Klopp will be chuffed that Tsimikas isn't going to the World Cup, as it means he'll definitely have one fresh left back when domestic football resumes. Regardless, he'll still be twisting about 5 substitutes rather than just rotating his best players. But whatever, Jurgen, you just keep making it someone else's problem. It's not like everyone can see through you. Centre midfield is Naby Keita. In the midfield we go, and it's back-to-back Liverpool players. It's the Liverpool reserves who are mainly definitely not going to the World Cup, with Keita set to join Tsimikas at the Liverpool training ground during November and December of this year. That's because Guinea haven't qualified, which is a real shame, because their midfield is an absolute dream. Keita, Alej Mariba, Amadou Diawara, it's the kind of thing that gets FIFA and Footy Manager players foaming at the mouth. Next in midfield is Frank Kessie. We've got another African talent playing in the middle of the park, and a player who comes from an even bigger nation. That's because Frank Kessie's Ivory Coast have not qualified for the 2022 World Cup. They were dumped out in the group stage of qualification and can probably feel a little bit hard done by considering they're in the same group as Cameroon. In contrast, the 2 top teams in Group E were Mali and Uganda. I mean, how's that fair? It's heartbreak for Kessie and the Ivory Coast, the nation that has produced 2 of the best African players we've ever seen in Didier Drogba and Yaya Toure. Our third and final midfielder is Martin Odegaard. Back to Europe now, and a nation that is on the cusp of a golden generation. Yes, a little old Norway have got some real talent coming through, but they won't be able to show us what they've got in Qatar. That's because Norway finished 3rd in their qualifying group, sitting behind Turkey and the Netherlands. They were only 3 points off a playoff spot, which shows just how close Norway were. They missed out though, meaning Martin Odegaard won't get his first chance to excel at a major tournament. And that's a real shame, because the football he's playing for Arsenal right now is sensational. He didn't really excel on loan last season, and some eyebrows were raised when they're going to splash out for him in the summer. But Odegaard has proven the doubters wrong, and at 23 is one of the most experienced players in this young and exciting Arsenal side. He's fantastic on the ball with the kind of vision and weight of pass that you want from a playmaker nowadays, and he's proven why he was the best player in the world on Football Manager 2015. That's how long Odegaard's been tipped to become a star for. It's actually frightening that he's only 23 years old. Combine that with the new wealth of young talent on HITC Sport, and I'm a right old c***. On the right wing we've got Wilfried Zaha. Under the attack, and we've got a very exciting front 3. Some big players still missed out though. Arsenal's Nicolas Pepe won't be there, Israel's newest star Manos Solomon won't be, and neither will Hungarian wonderkid Dominik Szoboszlai. But because Zaha's probably a bit better right now, and his name's a bit easier for me to say, I'm going to go with the Palace man on the flank, even though he normally plays through the middle nowadays. But this is my team, okay Wilfried, and you'll play wherever I damn tell you to. On the left wing is PierreEmerick Aubameyang. I mean, considering he got sent home from the AFCON, there's no guarantee he'd even be at the World Cup if Gabon had qualified. But they didn't, meaning Aubameyang will probably end his career as one of the planet's best players never to grace the World Cup. That's a real shame, especially when you consider his resurgence in recent weeks. It's not often a transfer works perfectly well for everyone involved, but that might be the case right here. Arsenal are flying without him and got a huge earner off the books, while Aubameyang is still playing for a huge club and banging the goals at Barcelona at the highest level. Everyone's a winner, except for Gabon, who will not be at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. And finally through the middle, it's Erling Haaland. Yes, one of the best players on the planet today will not be going to the World Cup. It's the first World Cup since Haaland emerged onto the scene, and he'll no doubt be devastated that he won't be able to strut his stuff alongside the new generation of Kylian Mbappe and Pedri. He's the kind of player who'll be able to drag Norway to success in the coming years, but that won't be happening at the 2022 World Cup. Then again, he's probably not that bothered about missing it, because by the time the World Cup's on, he'll be toasting his 10th Premier League hat-trick of the season for Man City, and he'll probably appreciate the break. So there we have it, that is the best current 11 of players definitely not going to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, and it's a team that could only get better in the coming weeks when more teams are eliminated from the qualifying process. But for now, we will leave it there. Let me know what you think of the team down in the comments below. Let me know anything else, any kind of feedback, just some nice things, whatever you want to say really. Thank you for watching, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and until next time we will see you around.